Coming up today on Taking Over Tottenham, we are changing our focus from the Premier League to the Conference League as we take on Feyenoord over 2 leagues to see if we can make our way into the final. That's coming up today on Taking Over Tottenham. Hello everyone and welcome back to episode number 11 of Taking Over Tottenham here on Shaun Does FM. I hope you are doing well, and if you're looking forward to today's episode, the Conference League semi-final, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and do enjoy the content here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. But before we kick into gear in today's episode, obviously it is a little bit different to what I said we would be doing at the end of yesterday's episode, taking on Chelsea. We'll show you guys highlights of that game instead, because I don't think we're now in a position where we can win the Premier League. It was unlikely anyway, and we do have a good chance, I think, of winning the Conference League. So I think we'll just focus our attention on that competition for these last 2 episodes of Season 1. But before we get into this first leg of the Conference League semi-final, the first leg is going to be played at De Kuip in the Netherlands. But before we get into that, we'll show you guys the highlights of quite a few games that we have played since the end of yesterday's episode, which if you missed, I'll leave a link to above my head in the top right corner. And first up was an away trip to Selhurst Park to take on Crystal Palace in the Premier League. It was a pretty dull game, this one, but about 5 minutes before halftime, we were given a penalty which Harry Kane tucked away, and we went 1-0 up. But unfortunately, in injury time in the first half, Palace did strike back. Hughes over there for Conor Gallagher. Really nice finish from him into the top right corner. And that is how it finished. We were only able to muster a 1-1 draw against Crystal Palace. A disappointing result there against a team right in the relegation fights. That certainly didn't help the slim hopes that we did have of lifting the Premier League title. But we bounced back pretty well from that in a home game against Aston Villa, a team who we had an absolute classic against earlier in the Premier League season. This time, a lot more convincing. We were able to pick up the 3 points here. It was 0-0 still at half-time, but Kane opened the scoring after that nice ball from Lo Celso to find him in quite a bit of space on the left-hand side there. And then in injury time, Joe Rodon with a header, and it was back on track against another team who are actually in the relegation zone, or in the fight at least at the moment, picking up 3 points there. And then we had the first leg of our Conference League quarterfinals. Obviously, with what's coming up today, you already know the result over 2 legs, but the first tie at home was pretty scrappy, only the 1 goal in it, and it was a penalty right before halftime to Harry Kane. So we didn't go into the second leg having this wrapped up at all into that away leg, but you look at the stats, it's a game that we absolutely should have won by more. Real Sociedad barely fired a shot. But before we went away for the second leg in Spain, we had a trip to Turf Moor to take on Burnley and got off to a good start in this game. Only 1 minute gone when we opened the scoring. Emerson Royale to Jack Clark getting a few minutes. Nice ball there, which Heung-min Son tucks away, and we were 1-0 up after only a minute and a half. And then 8 minutes later, around the 10-minute mark, we made it to nice long ball forward there for Belotti. Chips Nick Pope in goal there for Burnley, and we go 2-0 up nice and early, and it felt like it was going to be a good day at the office. About 25 minutes later, 10 minutes before halftime, Alfie Devine in for Dele Alli, who's got an open header in the centre of the goal and is able to tuck that away, put us 3-0 up. That was the halftime score, and we grabbed another one late through none other than Andrea Belotti. Heads that into the bottom right corner, and a very comprehensive win there against Burnley, another team down in the relegation zone, and it shows there in the overall performance and scoreline. And then it was the second leg of that Conference League quarter-final, and we did a number on Real Sociedad away from home here, which was a little bit surprising after we struggled a bit in the first leg. We did open the scoring around the 20-minute mark, Højbjerg being set up there from Lo Celso, and we did go 1-0 up thanks to a little bit of help from the upright. And then it was an unlikely source who got the second goal for us, some good short passing, and it was Caligari on the overlap, tucking that away really nicely in the bottom left corner about 8 minutes shy of halftime to put us 2-0 up, 3-0 on aggregate. And then 2 minutes before halftime, we made it 4-0 on aggregate. Kane slotting Bergwijn through there very nicely, and it was 4-0 on aggregate at halftime. At the 66-minute mark, a long throw from Ben Davies, which Oliver Skip got on the end of to make it 4-0 on the day, 5-0 on aggregate. And then in injury time, Christian Romero absolutely put the cherry on top, thumping them 5-0 on the day. And in the end, we went through quite comprehensively 6-0. And then it was back into the Premier League for 3 more games before the start of our first league against Feyenoord today. And it was against Watford at home. Scrappy game this, only the 1 goal in it at the hour mark. Took us a while to break these guys down, but we eventually did. Emerson Royale puts the ball in and Belotti slots that away. And we pick up a 1-0 win there. Pretty scrappy. It was a performance we should have won the game by more, but in the end got the job done, and that's what matters. And then we took on Everton at Goodison Park. Got off to a good start in this game. 6 minutes gone. Højbjerg's about to put a ball over to Emerson Royale, who puts one in the mixture. It actually comes off Michael Keane, and we go 1-0 up thanks to an own goal. But unfortunately from there, things fell apart ever so slightly. 23 minutes gone. Calvert-Lewin charging forward. Then it was Richarlison putting a good headed ball in there for Iwobi, and they make it 1-1 halfway through the first half. And then when we were down to 10 men thanks to an injury for a player that we bought on, Calvert-Lewin gets his head on the end of that. It takes a deflection off Ben Godfrey, so he claims the goal, and we do lose our first game in quite a while to Everton 2-1. But you look at the stats, we can't really complain too much. We didn't play well, and it certainly wasn't helped by the fact that we brought Bergwijn off the bench at halftime, and he went off with just under a half hour to go. That certainly didn't help. You can see how the XG jumped up for Everton off the back of that. So that really was the loss that pretty much, in my eyes anyway, ended our hopes of trying to lift the Premier League this season. But luckily we had a chance to bounce back in our next game, the one prior to today's episode. It was an away trip to Brentford, and we got off to a decent start in this game just after the quarter of an hour mark. Højbjerg back for Winks, unleashes one there into the top right corner pass, 1-0 up, nice and early. And then around about just after the hour mark, it was Harry Kane awarded a penalty, which he tucks away to pass 2-0 up. They did get a goal back late in this game to Brentford, just as injury time was starting. De Silva sliding that away in the bottom right corner, but they didn't have enough time to grab another, and we pick up a pretty solid win away against the Bees. Not our greatest performance, but we had decent shots on goal compared to what they had, and we did get back on track with another 3 points. So that is all the games that we have played in between yesterday and today. So what that means for the Premier League table is we are guaranteed Champions League football for next season with only 4 games left, 15 points clear of Arsenal. They cannot catch us, but we're still 6 points behind Manchester City and Manchester United on top of the table. 4 games left for us, as I said, 5 games left for both United and Liverpool. It is highly unlikely we are going to be able to catch those guys, especially if we go back to the schedule. When you have a look at our run home, I would not be surprised if we drop some points in 1 or 2 of these games, especially if we make that Conference League final as well, because Chelsea, Leicester, Liverpool and Arsenal is a very tough run home. So thankfully we have already secured Champions League football for next season. But today, given that we've pretty much wrapped up the Premier League season now, I don't think we're going to change too much. It's very unlikely we're going to win the title, and we've already secured Champions League football for next season. We are going to start focusing on the Conference League, and we have got Feyenoord in our semi-final. The other semi-final looks like the more interesting one, truth be told. West Ham taking on Roma. I would be a lot more comfortable with West Ham winning that one, as we've already beaten West Ham a few times this season. Roma do look the stronger of those 2 teams, but nonetheless, we should be able to make our way to the final. Quite a favourable draw in the semi-final anyway. Hopefully we can get past Feyenoord over these 2 legs. But before we get into the first leg of this game, we have done some contract stuff heading into next season for a few players who were potentially going to be leaving us at the end of this season. The first of those is Hugo Lloris. He finally agreed to take a pay cut. It's only 10k that he's going down by, so from 100k to 90k a week, but he is going to be staying at the club, and that is good, because if Galini left us at the end of the season, of course, he's on loan from Atlanta. We would have had to bring in 2 goalkeepers if Lloris left us next season as well. So in the end, I tried again to get Lloris back just so that we didn't have to shell out on 2 goalkeepers next season, only the one who hopefully will be better than what we already have in Lloris, and he accepted a little bit of a pay cut, so we'll be staying here next season, going down to 90,000 a week from the start of next season. So Hugo Lloris will be staying around next season, albeit still looking to bring in a better first choice goalkeeper for season 2 when we do get Champions League football here. And we've also done a deal to extend Christian Romero's loan here at Tottenham from Atalanta. There was an optional future fee in his current loan contract, which was about 42 million euros, I think, but we have got him back on loan for next season. And at the end of next season, we can sign him for a much lower price of 31 million at the end of that loan deal. So that is a really good deal, I think, getting down that future fee by 11 million, and that sorts us out for next season, the last season that I'll be playing of this Taking Over Tottenham beta save. Anyway, so Christian Romero and Hugo Lloris will both be staying around. Lloris dropping his wage, Romero not on much of a wage anyway, but if you guys want to carry on the save and buy him at the end of season 2, instead of costing you guys 42 million, I think it was, it will cost you 31 million instead, so cutting that price down quite nicely. But before we get into the first leg of this Feyenoord semi-final in the Conference League, unfortunately we're going to have to update you guys on a few injuries, and it is a right wing crisis here at Tottenham at the moment, as you might have been able to see from Jack Clark playing some games. That's because Jesus Corona does have a hip injury. He's going to be out for a further 3 to 6 weeks. So is not featuring at the moment. And as you saw it during those highlights, the game that we lost against Everton, Steven Bergwijn did get injured in after coming in off the bench. It was a fractured wrist, so he can play through it, but he is orange injured and not quite at full fitness at the moment. So it does mean that Jack Clark is going to be starting in this first leg against Feyenoord coming up, but hopefully Steven Bergwijn can do a job for us off the bench and might be fit for the second leg. But we are certainly testing our depth out on the right wing at the moment, but otherwise we are all in the clear and we have pretty much a first choice 11 available in all other positions. It's a tie that we should be winning, should probably be doing it quite comfortably as well. We'll come back shortly from De Kuip and see if we can take the advantage in the away leg. And we do have TV coverage for this game. There is the Feyenoord team playing a 4-2-3-1. You look at the side, they've got Bilo in goal. He's decent, but it's a team we should have the advantage on. As I said, Clark starts, Bergwijn on the bench, but otherwise we have got a first choice 11, and hopefully we can grab the advantage in this away league. 13 minutes gone here, and we do have the first highlight. It's a throw-in to Feyenoord, and they do knock it around towards the final field, though. We should tidy that through Emerson Royal. Oh my God. He's had a shocker, and Reece Nelson with the simplest of tap-ins, and we have absolutely gifted Feyenoord a goal here to start off this first leg of the Conference League semi-finals. It was a ball that we really should have tidied up, but unfortunately some really poor communication at the back there. Definitely down to Emerson Royal. That one a poor touch. He leaves it alone, gets mixed up with one of our defenders and Lloris. And after 15 minutes, it's Feyenoord 1, Tottenham 0. 33 minutes gone, a corner to us. Hopefully we can get back on track. Christian Romero with a header comes off the post. We'll see if anything else results from that highlight, but I think that was probably the chance. Good one for Romero, but it does remain 1-0 for now, although we do look to play the ball forward here, so maybe something else is going to come from this highlight. Højbjerg to Lo Celso, ball over the top for Clark, puts one across Shaun, surely, and we are back at 1-1 with 10 minutes to go, and we make up for that howler from Emerson Royal to get this back at all square, and it was a really well-worked goal, that one. Jack Clark, the young right winger, who, to be fair, up until then, was not having a good game, but he sets Heung-min Son up really nicely after the pass from Lo Celso. I think that was, puts Son in very nicely, a simple finish for the South Korean, and it's 1-1 with 10 minutes to go in the first half. And that is half-time in the first leg of this Conference League semi-final. We absolutely gifted them the first goal, but apart from that, I would say that we have looked the better team in this game and are back all square thanks to that goal to Heung-min Son with 10 minutes to go in the first half. We'll make one change at half-time. Harry Kane only on a 6.4 rating. I think Belotti might actually be in better form at the moment anyway, so we'll bring Belotti on for Kane at half-time and try and get a winning goal in the second half as we started off 1-1. Early highlight in the second half here is to Feyenoord, and they have a corner. It's just over the bar, that from Linson, and it does remain 1-1. 55 minutes gone here, and it looks like we are about to have a free kick ourselves. Emerson Royal takes it short, gives it to one of our players this time. Belotti slots through Son. He is onside, and Belotti straight off the bench, providing some impact for us up front, getting an assist, and it is Heung-min Son getting a double, and we go 2-1 up in the away leg, the first one of this Conference League semi-final. A really nice pass. I'm not too sure if he is onside, but no doubt VAR would have pulled that up if he wasn't, and we go 2-1 up, just shy of the hour mark. 59 minutes gone here. It's a corner to Feyenoord. It just goes over the bar again. They are trying to do us there from far post corners, but we are going to make some substitutions here. Some players on red hearts. Jack Clark on a yellow card as well, so Bergwijn can come on for him, and Ndombele is a bit tired, so Skip can come on for him as well, but we do hold a lead 2-1 with a half hour to go in the first leg. And up to the 65-minute mark now, another player down to a red half. Of course, we have 5 substitutions in the UEFA competition, so Ali can come on for a tired Højbjerg. Still 2-1 up though. 68 minutes gone. Feyenoord looking to get on the attack there, but Lottie tidies things up, although it's a poor clearance from Lloris, and the Dutch might be on the attack again. It's a little bit messy here though, very much so, but we do get the ball back eventually up to Belotti, and now look to build from the back as Lo Celso gets that back to Lottie. Son, who will probably be coming off shortly, but puts a nice ball there. Dele Alli out to Bergwijn. Can he put this away? Yes, he can. Off the bench, he might have a fractured wrist, but it is not impacting his finishing in this game, which is good to see, although he's picked up an early yellow card since coming on for Jack Clark, but he's done a job for us nice and early off the bench. And at the 69-minute mark, it is a nice scoreline. Tottenham 3, Feyenoord 1. Good finish after Dele Alli very unselfishly passed that ball back out to Bergwijn. We're going to make our last substitution. Son down to a red heart with that lead. Now I think we can definitely take him off, and we will bring Brian Gill on for him. That'll be our last substitution as we're 3-1 up with 20 minutes to go in the first leg. 73 minutes now. Emerson Royale was going to put a ball into the box here. He did. It was cleared away though from Feyenoord, but Joe Rodon will tidy things up, and if we can get another goal here, we would be in a great position going into the second leg. Not that we aren't already going into that home league, but we're in a much stronger position than we have been from our prior ties. But that is a lovely ball from Romero to slot Belotti away, but I think he was offside there. Looked a little bit too good to be true, but we will wait for VAR to confirm things as our boys start running back to halfway, and that's because the goal's awarded. Okay, that looked like one that looked a little bit too good to be true, as I said, but the goal's been awarded, and we go 4-1 up. I think he was actually being played onside there by the centre-back. You can see he is absolutely distraught, that centre-back, once he realises Belotti has got off his shoulder. We watch this again, we'll get shown here. Yeah, they just do not pick him up. Nice run that from Belotti to find the space, tucks it away, and it's 4-1 Tottenham with a quarter of an hour to go. 89 minutes, it's a corner here to Feyenoord, which Reece Nelson will put in. Rodon deals with it, but Tunstra is going to tie this up for the Dutch side, and they do knock it about inside our final third. Lovely ball there to Luis Sinisterra. Now, was he offside? That looked very similar to the Belotti one, so we'll just wait and see as he picks the ball up, runs back to halfway, and they're showing us the replay here, so I presume that the goal was awarded. Termstra with the ball over the top. It might be one of our centre-backs again, playing him onside. We'll just wait to look at this one because that looked quite tight, I thought. It is going to be 4-2 though as we enter injury time, and you can see he's just being played onside there by Joe Rodon. Nice finish from the promising Colombian midfielder, but that should do it. Hopefully 4-2 is still a decent result to be taking into our home league, and indeed that is going to be the final scoreline from this first league. Probably should have won that game 4-1 in the end after we gifted them a goal early on through Emerson Royale, but bounced back nicely with a double to Son, Bergwijn and Belotti then striking in the second half, and in the end, despite that late goal of Sinisterra, we pick up a 4-2 win to take back to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And before we get into the Chelsea highlights, which will show you guys right off the back of this, just an update on the other tie. West Ham hold a 1-0 lead over Roma going into that second leg. And before we get into the second leg of that Feyenoord Conference League semi-final, we do have the Premier League game against Chelsea to show you guys highlights from. This was a game that we did have to rotate our side in quite a bit with that Conference League semi in mind, just to make sure that we do make our way through to that final. But luckily for us, our rotation players still perform well against the Blues in this London derby, and we got off to a good start in the 12th minute. Oliver Skip there for Brian Gill, over for Harry Winks. He picks himself up another goal, sliding that away into the bottom right corner, nice and low, and we go 1-0 up early. Then Ben Davies with a block free kick, 5 minutes to go before half-time, but Sessegnon back for Davinson Sanchez, of all people, rockets one into the top right corner to make it 2-0 at half-time, and just after half-time we got a penalty which Dele Alli slowed away. And our rotation team, as you can see, not too many first-choice players there. I'd argue just Romero and Lloris. With just those first-team players starting that game, we still pick up a 3-0 win over Chelsea. So that's a great result for us there in the Premier League, and what that means for the table, if we have a look at it before we get into the second leg of this final game, is we are still in the same position, 6 points behind Manchester City, but with only 3 games to go, still very unlikely that we're going to be lifting the Premier League title this season. There's a chance potentially that we could go above Liverpool, as one of their games that they do have left is against us at home as well. So if we can beat them, we might go up into third, but still looking like we're probably going to end up finishing fourth in the Premier League. Certainly unlikely to be lifting the title anyway, but we'll come back shortly for the second leg of this Conference League semi-final. We're going to be using exactly the same lineup. It will still be Bergwijn on the bench, Clark starting as he's still a little bit tired with that fractured wrist. I think that's what's holding his fitness back. So we could potentially start him, but 4-2 up, I think we can use Jack Clark out on that right wing again, and we'll come back shortly with the action from the Hotspur Stadium with a 4-2 lead going into the second leg. And team sheets on the TV coverage, as I said, we've got exactly the same squad as we had for the first game of today's episode. A quick look at Feyenoord, and they look exceptionally similar as well. A smaller bench as well, so hopefully we can make the most of that and hold on to our lead from the first leg. 23 minutes gone. The first highlight here is for Feyenoord going aerial again, but they just put that over the bar. First chance Feyenoord, but it does remain 0-0 on the day. 39 minutes gone here, and it looks like we are about to have a free kick, which Lo Celso will take. Of course, he pulled one of these off in the EFL Cup final a few episodes ago. That one's just high and wide, and it does remain 0-0. 45 minutes, we are entering the last minute of added time. We have a corner, which we do get cleared from Feyenoord, and now it's Malacia on the counter-attack here, so we'll see if anything comes of this, but Jack Clark retreating very nicely on the left wing as well, so he has covered a lot of ground there, and now Harry Kane, tight angle. Can he put us 1-0 up? Comes off the post. Can't quite get the job done for us there. Can Harry Kane, and it is still 0-0 at half-time, but pretty happy with how things are going. We might take a few players off throughout the second half, as we do have quite a few substitutions that we can use in this Conference League, but stats-wise, performing well, created more chances than the opposition as well, and still have that 2-goal lead. So hopefully we can see this out in the second half of the second leg. Okay, up to the 55-minute mark in the second half. Nothing happening so far. Pretty quiet game, truth be told, but we are going to make a few substitutions here. First off, Joe Rodon can come off. A Davinson Sanchez playing well, but on a yellow heart. Feel like Feyenoord aren't really threatening us too much at the moment, so we'll just keep him fresh for the upcoming Premier League games. I think we're also going to take off Harry Kane, yellow card, 6.5 rating. Not in great form at the moment, so Belotti can come on for him. And we'll also bring Ben Davies on for a slightly struggling Renan Lodi as well. So 3 changes. We have 2 subs left, 35 minutes to go though, and still hold a 2-goal lead. 58 minutes gone, and we have a corner. Son puts us into the mixer. Davinson Sanchez gets his head to that, but it just goes over. Still 0-0. And up to the 63-minute mark now, time to make another substitution. Heung-min Son is on a red heart, so we'll bring Brian Gill for him. Also switch those centre-backs around, as Romero is a little bit stronger in the air. That could help from corners, but still in a good position. 4-2 up on aggregate with 27 to go. And time for our last substitution with 17 minutes to go. Very quiet half this one. We'll just tell Emerson Royal to ease off tackles and Jack Clark down to a red heart. So time for Steven Bergwijn to get a little bit more fitness off the bench. That's our last sub. Still 2 goals up with just over a quarter of an hour to go. 77 minutes gone here. It is a corner to Feyenoord. If they got one back here, it would make this very interesting. Really good save that from Lloris, and they get another chance there, but Lloris will tidy that up. If they got that goal, as I said, they would have been right back in this game, but this highlight does continue. So Lloris is going to try and find someone here, and he picks out Bergwijn very nicely. What can he do down the right back for Emerson Royal? He makes his way towards the byline, puts a ball in for Belotti. Andrea Belotti, and surely that will seal it now with 12 minutes to go. It is 5-2 Tottenham in the Conference League semi-final, and we should definitely be making our way through to the final now against one of West Ham or Roma, who are playing at exactly the same time. Haven't seen any updates from that game, but this one should seal it. Good ball from Royal. Belotti with another goal. As I said, I think he's in better form than Harry Kane at the moment, and it's 5-2 with 10 to go. And one more highlight starting here with Feyenoord in possession just before we enter the 90th minute, but a good block there, and Ben Davies will tidy things up. Now Brian Gill, hopefully he can improve on his recent form, because lately it's been Ryan Sessegnon who's been our best backup left winger, but we'll try and get Gil into some form here as we play the ball up to Belotti, back to Højbjerg. Nice ball for Belotti. What can he do here? The angle's closed down a little bit from the defence, but he puts a ball in for Steven Bergwijn, and he gets another goal off the bench, much like he did in the first leg, and it looks like this tie is going to end 6-2 Tottenham, 2-0 in the second leg, and we pick up a pretty solid 2-0 win in the home leg. Good play there, Bergwijn over to Belotti, and he waits for the run. In fact, it wasn't Bergwijn who played the pass, but nonetheless, Bergwijn in a good position to tuck that away in the top right corner. And as we enter the last 3 minutes of this game, as you would expect from Tottenham, we do the job pretty comfortably over the two legs, and we'll be making our way through to a Conference League final, which will wrap up the season in tomorrow's episode as we beat Feyenoord 6-2 on aggregate. Good performance in the first leg and a solid one in the second as well. So pretty good stuff from us over those two legs. And we've got a conference final to look forward to try and complete a double in our first season of taking over Tottenham after we get past Feyenoord. And the team that we are going to be playing in that final of the Conference League in tomorrow's episode is Roma. They came from behind, winning their home league 2-0 as well, and overturning that 1-0 deficit from the first leg. So coming up tomorrow, it will be against Jose Mourinho, against his former club in the Conference League final, and hopefully we can pick up that trophy in the first year of its existence, be the first winner of that, and make it a double for the season to go alongside our Carabao Cup as well. And hopefully that will boost up our transfer budget as well, because of course with us making the Champions League for next season, we've already been given our transfer budget. It's a little bit stingy, truth be told, considering we already had 30 million there from the sale of Lucas Moura this season, and we're guaranteed 48 for this upcoming season. It's a little bit stingy. As I said, it's 20 million lower than what I was expecting it to be. Only 58 million is our transfer budget, so it's a little bit disappointing, but hopefully if we win that Conference League, we will be able to get the board to pump that up a little bit more, because at the moment that's not quite as much as I was hoping to be able to use on next season after we did sell both Tanganga and, more importantly, Lucas Moura. We didn't quite find ways to reinvest that money on deadline day, so hopefully that money doesn't just disappear and we get it back for the start of Season 2. But that's going to do it for today's episode. Hopefully you guys did enjoy those two legs against Feyenoord, and we will have a final to look forward to in tomorrow's episode of the Conference League against Jose Mourinho's Roma, and we'll also tidy up the Premier League season as well. A tough run home for us. As I said, if we can beat Liverpool, we might have a chance to go above those guys, but it's unlikely we're going to be able to reel in Manchester City at the top of the Premier League table. But we'll bring you guys highlights of those games tomorrow before we play the Conference League final against Roma from the Air Albania Stadium. But if you did enjoy today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and do enjoy the content here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. And until tomorrow, where we wrap up Season 1 with that Conference League final against Roma, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.